You've seen the dramatic images of climate change, right? We've all seen the melting glaciers and the massive superstorms. But then you hear the numbers, 1 or 2 degrees of warming, and it just doesn't sound that scary.
So how can a change that small cause so much chaos?
Well, that's the puzzle we're going to solve today.
We see maps like this all the time. Projections showing temperatures climbing by, 3, 4, maybe even 6 degrees Celsius. And our brains know this is bad. But it's hard to really feel the danger, isn't it? I mean, a 4-degree change is, the difference between a nice spring day and a slightly warmer one? Or so it seems.
So this is the big question. How can a tiny little nudge on the global thermostat trigger a chain reaction so massive it can bring entire ecosystems to their knees? The answer isn't in the sky. It's not in the oceans. It's actually much, much smaller.
To solve this whole mystery, we have to go microscopic. We've got to look inside, at the fundamental little machines that power every single living thing on this planet.
That's right. The secret is enzymes. You probably haven't thought about these since high school biology class, but trust me, these invisible little workhorses are running the entire show. Inside your cells, inside every plant, every animal on Earth. They are the key to everything.
So what exactly is an enzyme? Think of it like a tiny, super efficient engine. Its job is to make chemical reactions happen millions of times faster than they normally would. To put that in perspective, without enzymes, digesting your lunch could take, 50 years. Seriously, life as we know it just flat out couldn't exist without them.
The way they work is actually pretty cool. It's often called the lock and key model. So you have a specific molecule, that's the substrate, and it floats over to the enzyme. See that little notch on the enzyme? That's called the active site, and it's perfectly shaped for one and only one type of key.
And then, click. The key slides into the lock. The substrate binds to that active site. The enzyme then gives it a little squeeze, changing its shape just slightly to get a perfect grip. This is the moment where the magic happens.
And bam, just like that, the reaction is done. The substrate gets broken down into new products and they get released. The enzyme itself is totally unchanged, ready to go again, and again, and again, thousands of times a second. It's unbelievably efficient.
Okay, but here's the catch. These perfect little engines, they have a serious weak spot, an Achilles heel. They are incredibly picky. They only work perfectly in just right conditions. And the big one is temperature.
For example, our enzymes, the ones running your body right now, they love it at 37 degrees Celsius, our normal body temp. But check out this bacteria that lives in volcanic hot springs. Its enzymes are built for the heat. They work best at a blistering 72 degrees. Every organism is perfectly fine-tuned to its own specific environment.
So what happens when you turn up the heat just a little bit? Well, all the molecules get more energy. They start zipping around faster, which means more collisions between the enzymes and their substrates. The whole system speeds up. So a little bit of warming can actually boost the engine. But, and this is a huge but, only up to a point.
Because if the temperature climbs just a little too high, past that perfect Goldilocks zone, that's when everything goes horribly wrong. The delicate structure of the enzyme literally starts to vibrate itself apart. The bonds that hold it in that perfect 3D shape break, and that super important active site gets all twisted and warped.
And this is the critical point. The enzyme has been denatured. The key has melted. It doesn't fit the lock anymore. The engine is broken, the reaction stops, and here's the scariest part. It's permanent. There's no fixing it.
So how does this one microscopic failure scale up to a global crisis? What happens when these tiny engines inside millions, even billions, of organisms all start to break down at once? Well, you get a chain reaction of chaos.
And this is where it starts to get very real. Warmer springs mean plants flower earlier. It means insects emerge earlier. Their internal enzyme-driven clocks are all speeding up. And for predators like these birds, that can be a total disaster, because their entire life is timed to have their babies right when there's a huge feast of food available.
Now check out this data, because it's fascinating and also pretty worrying. In the UK, these birds called great tits have actually managed to adapt. They're laying eggs 2 weeks earlier than they did 50 years ago, so they stay in sync with their food source, caterpillars. But just across the water in the Netherlands, it's a completely different story. The caterpillars are emerging even faster than the birds can keep up, so the chicks hatch, the party's already over, and they starve. It's the same species, just a few hundred miles apart, with wildly different outcomes.
Now you might think, well, animals in hot climates must be fine. They're used to the heat. But it's actually the exact opposite. Species in the tropics have evolved for millions of years in super stable temperatures, so their enzymes have a very, very narrow comfort zone. They have absolutely no experience with big temperature swings, which makes them incredibly vulnerable.
And the reality is just stark. A change of just a few degrees can shove these finely tuned organisms right past their breaking point. And that can mean the extinction of thousands of species.
And if you think that's wild, it gets even weirder. For some animals, temperature doesn't just control their metabolism, it decides if they're a boy or a girl. Take crocodiles. These guys have survived since the dinosaurs, but their fate is literally decided by how warm the sand is where their eggs are buried.
And just look at how thin the margin for error is here. Males only develop if the egg is kept in a tiny 1-degree window between 32 and 33 Celsius. Any warmer, it's a female. Any cooler, it's a female. So what do you think happens to a species when the world warms up just enough to stop any males from being born at all?
And this isn't just about wildlife. This is about us. It's about what we eat. Our staple food crops, the rice, wheat, and corn that feed billions of people. They are all governed by the exact same rules. Each one has a perfect temperature for its enzymes to work. Pushing the climate outside of that comfort zone threatens food supplies for all of us.
So, let's pull all these threads together. Let's completely reframe how we think about those small numbers.
Here's the most important thing to take away from all this. A 2-degree change isn't just a slight change in the weather. It's a fundamental attack on the biological machinery of the entire planet. It's a quiet, invisible assault on the basic chemistry that makes life, well, live.
We've seen how just a few degrees can cause these tiny engines to sputter, to get out of sync, and to fail completely. And that leaves us with one final, really chilling question. Life's engines are overheating. So, what happens when they stop for good?